But first, let me introduce you to the two big faces up there. On your left is W.B. Du Bois, a sociologist and philosopher. And on your right is, you might all know this person. If you don't, you should. His name is Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche. So both of these persons are very important philosophers of our time, and they help us to understand two important institutions. One is the press, and the second one is the academia. And both of them are in crisis right now, and taking insights from these two philosophers will help us to get towards a solution to the problem that we're facing right now. Okay? So, the subtitle of this talk was, it mentioned disintegrated ethics. So right now we're living in the age of disintegrated ethics. So what is disintegrated ethics? And why is this ethics disintegrated? When was it integrated? So Nietzsche very famously said in The Gay Science, here the gay means happy, he said, God is dead and we have killed him. Nietzsche himself was an atheist, so he was not meaning that, that there is a single God specifically, and there was a war among gods, and some evil god had killed the good god. It's not like that. What he meant is that the Enlightenment that caused the scientific revolution made the idea of religion or a universal ethics. Religion used to be a universal ethics. So that universal ethics has been broken down into bits and pieces, and now people have individualized ethics. Everyone has their own point of view about what's right and what's wrong. Religion has been reduced to a personal level. So that's what I mean by disintegrated ethics. So after the Enlightenment, the idea of a universe that was governed by physical laws and not by divine providence became prominent. So before that, there were divine rights of the kings, right? But after Enlightenment, what came to be is that the rulers would be in the power through the consent of the ruled, and not through some sort of divine rights of the kings that the God ordained them to rule. So this is the development of the Enlightenment. So before that, I'm going to give you an example what I mean by the crisis of the fourth estate making the press. So here are two news stories. Here's the first. Take a look at the title, if you can read it. Here's a picture of Aung San Suu Kyi, and the headline is Hege Bipode Porechen Suu Kyi. Okay? So here the story got 632 likes, 22 comments, and 536 shares. But actually, the story was this. The story was Nobbo Sangbadikotar Ghorotoro Sankot, the deep crisis of modern journalism. That was the story. What I did is actually through some SEO manipulation, when I actually shared it on the Facebook, the headline was changed. And nobody ever even cared to click on the headline and see what was inside. In the inside of the story, I talked about how everyone just looks at the headline and just shares without even checking. And that's what exactly they did. 632 times they shared it and said, wow, how funny this headline is. So why would we not, as journalists, go for clickbaity titles? In this case, Aung San Suu Kyi had went to the International Court of Justice. So here is an excerpt from that story about the deep crisis of journalism. Because right now, we all get our news through social media, and in social media, you just see the title, the stand first, and the thumbnail. So, and also for YouTube videos, you see a very catchy title, a very eye-grabbing headline, and you click on it, no matter what the content is. That's why you see a lot of people who just spread conspiracy theories and don't do actual journalism becoming more and more powerful by the day, just because they have made this an art. They have made provocative headlines and provocative thumbnails an art that can benefit themselves. So how do you interpret without coercion? Here you have a very catchy cartoon of Friedrich Nietzsche with being the Ubermensch. That's what he said, that, okay, we came through the evolutionary process, we came from apes to man, but at some point we will go from man to something that's beyond man. He said it was Superman or Overman. So how can we become that? That comes through education. That part of Nietzsche's work not a lot of people know about. Nietzsche wrote a lot about education. Through education, you can learn to deny all that can be denied. The process of elimination. That is one of the single tenets of logical deduction. You can learn to deny all that can be denied. And what is left after this exercise of denying everything that can be denied is what you can claim metaphysical meaning on. You can find meaning in something that you think is true. And that's why you need basic academic or journalistic research training. That's what the institutions should provide you with. So how do you teach everyone to do research? So W.E.B. Du Bois said, education must not simply teach work, it must teach life. So even the US Department of Education made a grave error in spelling. They said Du Bois, it's actually Du Bois anyway. So he said education is a continuous process throughout lifetime. College education, by which he meant research-based education, must be accessible to all. It should not be exclusionary based on wealth, status, or on an admission test. Everyone should be able to do research, because if everybody does not do research, if nobody knows how to interpret the news or how to choose between news sources, people are going to get confused, they will get false information, and the society will disintegrate. All right, and the best model of this research education is a small self-funded colleges are the best methods for research. Okay, so we already have small self-funded colleges, kind of, right, online. We have 10-minute school, which is doing really great. We have the Khan Academy, we have Crash Course on YouTube. So what is the limitation of these? Are these perfect? To me, they are not perfect, because they have solved the problem of distribution. The problem of distribution is everybody able to access them? Some more or less, yes. Some of them charge you some money to get into some special courses, but mostly you can get them for free. But they're lacking in content. They make the replication of the existing knowledge, they make it easier for you to memorize things or learn things that are already there, but they do not teach you how to innovate. They do not teach you how to pick and choose between different sources and come to a conclusion of your own. So that's why you need the tools of research that will be repurposed for university level education. So the small college model, I'll very quickly go over this. So effective education involves individual attention. So you need one-to-one dialogue with your teacher. In a PhD level, you usually get that. You get one-to-one dialogues with your teacher. I was very lucky. I got it in my undergraduate level. But I would hope that our education system, our universities will very much evolve into that stage where teachers will directly communicate with their students and give them apprenticeships and skilled guidance. And secondary research methods can be taught through accessible distance learning. So through online, people can learn how to do secondary research. And for primary research, they will come to the center and learn how to do primary research for creating new knowledge. So the research clinic, the model is each one teach one. Everyone will teach someone else. So we take the pedagogy from Nietzsche and structure from Du Bois. A near peer researcher is matched with incoming enthusiasts as research directors. So let's say I've been doing a research on social movements. Someone else wants to do a research on social movements. We are matched together, we sit together, we work together, and we develop our research together. And research directors help incoming students to produce original research work. So this is very much like the PhD program that goes on in the universities, but I'm proposing that this should happen at a mass level, that anyone can access it. So putting it all together, I have two layers of ideas here. The first you see on top is the online research-based education that will create revenue, and that revenue will fund the primary research institution. These are the two layers. So the online research-based education will give you universal university education that Du Bois said that is necessary. It will give you lifelong education, again coming from Du Bois, and it will provide you with contemporary education, again from Du Bois. And the primary research-based institution will teach through examples that Nietzsche said, create unique knowledge, like Nietzsche said, and solve social problems, as Du Bois said. And these two sets will work with each other. And this is not only an idea that's in my head. I've already started working on this. I have a learning center called People's Learning Center. We have already launched courses on IELTS, GRE, SAT, spoken English. These are the first layer, the top layer, the online research-based education. So this creates our revenue, right? Using that revenue model, we want to create a research center where anyone can come in, do their research, get funding, and get support for their research, and ultimately create new knowledge that's so much necessary for our society in any discipline, in any field. That's my vision, and these are my references. Thank you all for listening to my talk.